Thank you, Dr. Balyan, for your opening remarks and setting the theme to run ahead. At the outset, let me thank Dr. Anil Garg and his better half, Ragini, for organizing this kind of conference where you have very good deliberations from global speakers. And very difficult to have such a session. So thank you very much, Dr. Garg. Now, I was really wondering, we have been thinking of energy resources, the fuel. So far, for last 50 years, we have been depending only on 6 resources. No? We say oil, coal, gas, then you have solar, the renewables, nuclear, and hydro. But now comes future fuel. So Dr. Balyan has set a theme. Can we really think of some, synthetic fuel, something new? Because otherwise all categories have been defined well. Even if you say tidal energy, geothermal energy, or you can say even the biogas, everything has been defined, which category it will belong to. So we are actually in search of the new and enable. So this presentation on future fuels, green energy and transition, this side, of course, you have the 13th World PetroCoal, a legendary conference. In the right side, you find something new, actually. We have been advocating the blue flame. That was the gas flame. Very interesting. Now, this is, you can call it pink flame or little deep yellow. This is the hydrogen flame. So there have been a lot of deliberation, hydrogen as a fuel resource, not as an energy battery, you can call it, or whether it is a fuel. It is both, actually. It can be storage, it can be as a fuel. So this is a dream, as Dr. Balyan has said. Can we really dream of a hydrogen-based economy or hydrogen economy? This is the opening. Tomorrow, if you get in your house, hydrogen, this will be the flame. Sorry. Yeah. So the question comes, can you really have net zero by 2050, or you can scale out the most useful or most used fuel? If you see here 3, coal, gas, and oil, these 3, they are most used. In the world scenario, also more than 80%. In Indian scenario, almost 90% of the energy basket. Now, doing away with this kind of fuel, which are supposed to be more polluting, called fossil fuel, what preparation we need to have to phase them out? This is a challenge. Then only you can go green fuel, because they are supposed to be more emission prone. Now, your nuclear, hydro, renewables, these 3 categories, and this is the world and India also almost same. Rightly pointed out in the previous session also, if you go on, let's say, renewables, what is the percentage? Globally 6.7, India 1.79 only. So, with the present trend and present thrust, it will not be able to cope up if there is a asymptotic growth. What could be the reason, what could be the preparation to go for that kind of growth? This is what is very, very important aspect. That's why I was just trying to scan it. This is a challenge to bring from so much dependence on fossil fuel going for the renewable and the green. This is the trend. The globe or the whole world is concerned about the emissions coming up, global warming, greenhouse gases, so many things you have been studying. So trend has shown, if you see the oil is decreasing, right? This slide shows about 2002 to 2021, 2 decades. The top red one is oil, which is slowly coming down. That means it is being replaced by something, which is either gas, or which is either hydrogen, or maybe some other blend. Second one is the coal. Coal has been going up to 2006 to 2015, almost 9-10 years. Now it's dropping down, coal. And the third one, natural gas, is increasing slowly. So first top one is for the fossil fuel trend globally. And for renewables and others, you see hydroelectricity, because the whole world has tried to optimize. The Scandinavian countries have depended more on hydro. And we are also trying, but there are a lot of problems coming up in the hydropowers. So this almost stagnated. Slightly growth, but in the 2020-21, it has come down because of a lot of environmental issues coming up with those plants. And then if you see second one, nuclear, again, because of the safety and other consideration, it is also coming down. And only thing which goes up is the renewable. So there is a good ray of hope on the renewables. Yes, we can really depend upon, but it needs a lot of job, lot of work. So just to revisit the same thing, the need, what we have focused is 2021 slate. It is increasing. As for India, you have seen for last 2 decades, almost the consumption of primary energy has doubled. And we expect 25% rise by 2030. So it is not only what we are consuming now, what are our preparation for the future energy requirement for the growth of the country. Because whole economy is energy driven. This is one issue. Second, world fossil fuel, as I said, 82.3%. If I reduce a slightly better fossil fuel, natural gas, then the dependence is 57.9%, oil and coal. It has to be phased out. There is no other choice. Then Indian context, we have to phase out 83.29, still more challenge than the world over, because it is a developing country. And there have been impact. If you see the Glasgow summit, which you had, COP26, this was one of the burning issue actually. At the last moment, India prevailed upon. They say, yes, let us really slowly phase out the coal. Otherwise, they say, oh, abandon the coal. If you abandon the coal and become the signatory of COP, then you are bound to do that. And where do we go actually? Depending 83.29% dependence on oil and coal. What is the concern? Why so much noise? Greenhouse gas emission, top one, it has led to the global temperature rise. Today it is almost 1.5 degrees Celsius. And they say, yes, stop it, don't increase it. If we increase, then what happens? Consequence is global warming, melting of ice, rise of sea levels, flood, drought, and submergence of few of the island. The places like Maldives, almost flooding. So what will happen? These are the challenges. And it's basically survival actually. So to address these issues, the United Nations chartered under this system, the conference of parties, the parties mean government actually, the countries, 197 countries have come together to really address, at least for the sake of addressing. What I mean to say, they may not exactly implement what they say, and it has been done so, because COP26 is almost more than 26 to 30 years ago. But still awareness is increasing, good sign. Top one is Kyoto Protocol, you have seen, I'm not increasing it, but it's only concerned. Paris Agreement, conclusion was at least let us stop, let us stagnate at 1.5 degrees Celsius rise, don't increase. So therefore emission have to come down. So they say we will cut by 2030, 30%. COP26 in Glasgow, they described as the world's last chance to stop catastrophic global warming. So if you do not work now, then you are gone. If the existence is very much in question, there is a question of using energy. You have to really stop it. Then outcome was net zero by 2050, most of the countries. But India said, no, we'll be cooperating, but let us extend it to 2070. But the question is now, what kind of fuel mix we should have so that at least you reach 2070 net zero. Then finally, another good thing was that those so-called developed countries which are emitting more pollutant to the atmosphere should also support economically those countries which are trying their best to limit the emissions. So they committed but never done the commitment completely. So therefore it said financial support from developed countries or more polluting nations should come to those who are having new projects to combat this kind of problems. Then finally, the coal phasing out. So it's opening. That's why we were asking the previous question. If you say greening coal, it's a good thing. But it should be net profitable. Whether you are putting that much cost to green the coal or you are having some alternatives, you have to strike a balance between two options in search of more benign fuels. Again, the topic of today. Renewable, as I said, 13.45 global with hydro. Needs a thrust. You find out new thing. Geothermal, tidal, all other renewables, use it. Even bio, lot of jatropha's. This is one issue, sorry. Then you have Natural gas, 24.4%. India only 6.3. But as flagged off by Dr. Balian, the study globally done by many research institutes, very much energy professional, they say you have to cope up, you have to carry gas at least up to 2050. But after that also, maybe, I mean, this we are today speaking on this, what happened next 2 years, 3 years, we will see it. But the question is because it is much better than any other fossil fuel, that means coal and oil. So this may sustain right out to 2050 or even more. Hydrogen, also an emerging storage and as an energy module. This is what everybody says now. Globally, everybody is considering hydrogen because of two reasons. One, that you can produce from renewables, which you call green hydrogen. We'll come back to that, what kind of color we'll have the hydrogen. But it will have a mixed pollution which is much more acceptable. That means if you are using, let's say, natural gas in vehicle CNG, some of the vehicles are running on either IC engine model of hydrogen or as a hydrogen fuel. So sum total of the emulsion will be acceptable limit. That is why everybody is concerned. There is one source which will minimize, almost zero. If hydrogen burns, nothing comes, it comes only water. So that is why the entire focus of the world is on the hydrogen. That's the only reason which I can perceive. Now, present fuel mix will not achieve net zero, already declared, and it may be challenge for some of the students. Yes, you work hard, maybe you find something. All small is big actually. So this is one thing. Share of renewable is to increase fast, not the pace which we are going now. It is too small and we will not be able to outsource the fossil fuel. Then natural gas will continue to play, is already concerned. Hydrogen emerging fuel and their storage. Now that there are challenges with some hydrogen. One of the challenge with the renewable has been told that what happened in the night time when there is no sun? What happened at a time when there is no wind? They are the major two renewable resources. So there is one concept called PSP, pump storage. They say you have day good sun, store the electricity or the energy. In the night, when there is nothing or you have excess in the daytime, pump the water to the back reservoir. In the night, generate the electricity. So newcomer, new technology, mechanical engineering, they have got a switchable turbine which can become pump. The blades are twisted, and which can also become a turbine when blades are reversed. So it will pump the water to the reservoir on the top, then run as a turbine, generate the electricity. This is one concept. Second is CSP. We call it concentrated salt plants, solar plant. That means solar energy, you are concentrating through a mirror on a salt solution. And it heats up, gets as a storage, then it can be used to run steam turbines and use the power. So in this way, you can probably continue giving 24/7 the energy produced from the renewables, notwithstanding when there is a sun or there is a wind or no wind. This is one innovative thinking process which goes on and addresses the questions of renewables not giving energy 24/7. Now, question comes, hydrogen mobility. Mobility movement. Sure that it has no CO2 emission, but how to take it from one place to another place? If you want to liquefy, your temperature is too less, minus 200 something, I mean, I'll cover it here. And pressure, if you want to pressurize it, it is almost 500 to 700 bar. Just imagine, CNG now being put in the vehicle is almost not more than 250 bar, almost double and triple. So such a pressure designed vessels will need different kind of metals and less storage capacity. So this is a challenge. Then we have fuel cell. This is almost advanced stage now. People are using hydrogen-based fuel cell, and many vehicles are flying on that. These are the two things. But historically, the hydrogen mobility in the form of vehicles, both IC engines as well as renewable cells, have been already used. So this is not a new thing. We can only improvise and economize. Hydrogen production. You can produce from fossil fuel base, but again, as I said, the sum total of the emission should be not disfavorable. If you are able to produce hydrogen with any fuel which otherwise used will have lesser emission, then it's okay. Otherwise, no good. These are the processes. Then we have renewable energy base, mostly water splitting, many of the process. Then biomass process. This is another thing. In biomass, the government have given very, very high thrust to biomass now. In one of the conferences I was telling, it's a renewable natural gas. If we really work upon, India is very rich, and focus is now going on biogas. Tremendous. You can have cow dung, you can have kitchen waste, you can have forest waste, you can have agriculture waste. All mixed together, new type of digesters are available, and you can go for biomass process. This so many color, as we call green hydrogen, white hydrogen naturally occurring in the atmosphere, then brown and black produced from coal gasification. One of the worst kind of thing, because you have more emissions going on to produce this. Gray hydrogen from natural gas without capturing CO2. Then if you capture CO2, it becomes blue, better. Then we have pink. This is the big thing going on in European Union now. You have a nuclear plant. If the nuclear plant is producing electricity and you are using that electricity to split water and create hydrogen, that is a pink. And if you are using only the thermal energy of the nuclear plant, splitting water, getting hydrogen, it is called red. And the purple is when you are using both heat as well as electricity generated from nuclear plant. The green is one produced by electrolysis of the water using electricity generated from renewables. That is solar, wind, geothermal, tidal, whatever you want. All those renewables, if they produce green hydrogen, that is the best, because you are using renewable energy and producing hydrogen. So not adding any emissions. So this is the whole focus on this is a green energy, green hydrogen. This is what it is. Now, in this particular 4-point, in France, it is, they wish actually, this is very rich in nuclear power, France. So they want to say if the hydrogen is produced from electrolysis process of using electricity from nuclear plant, it should be termed as a green. So there is dialogue going on, but ultimately it is getting accepted. Okay, use it, at least meet your quota. This I was just telling, liquefying minus 253. Liquefaction. As against LNG, it is minus 161 degrees Celsius, almost 100 degree more, minus. Similarly, reduction of the volume. In case of LNG, it is almost 600 times. Here it is 787 times. So the concentration of the energy in hydrogen is much higher. And the density also is higher because of that reduction volume. Now another thing, when you have the mobility of hydrogen, you need to transport it. Now you have 3 mechanisms. One, that a pipeline. As of now, world over, there is no pipeline which will stand alone transport hydrogen, because it has a property. Some of the student members have heard hydrogen embrittlement. It embrittles the pipe, and which becomes very much weak. So therefore, they are putting percentage of the hydrogen. In India also we call it hydrogen, and some mixing up to 4-5% has started putting in the hydrogen, natural gas, and transporting through pipeline. So there is an exercise going on in many of the countries, including European Union. They want to slowly increase, maybe 30%, 40%, see what effect it comes up. So it will be one mobility, one they have. Second, you can make ammonia. Ammonia is liquid at 20 degrees Celsius and 8.6 bar. It contains almost 17.8% hydrogen. So it's a liquid you can transport in the tanker. Then take a hub. Supposing here you want to go Bombay with hydrogen. You can make a hub in Jaipur. Another you can make in Ratlam. Third you can make in Surat, like that. So you make that hubs where ammonia can be transported and split in again hydrogen. What's the point? The splitting is thermo effective. You can have thermal cracking and make it hydrogen. This is one. So you have pipeline, you have ammonia. Third one is a compressed form. Pressurizing 500 bar or 700 bar, put it in the cylinder and transport. But in that case also, if you see here, a small volume of 3 to 4 kg can give you a mileage of 800 kilometers. Very interesting actually. Now, in the what are the effects actually? I will just I will go Indian preparedness just to put my things in straight. Now, Government of India has announced a national hydrogen policy. Sorry. थोड़ा बड़ा कर दिया. National Green Hydrogen Mission. What is the purpose actually? So, when any initiative is given a thrust by the government, it becomes more effective. So, they have put a policy to make India a global hub of production, usage and export of green hydrogen and its derivative. This will continue to India's aim to become Atmanirbhar through clean energy and serve as an inspiration for global clean energy transition. This government, present government, is really dynamic actually. You see, initially they said we'll produce 175 gigawatt renewables. When we were touching or we are lagging, they said no, we'll do 450 gigawatt. So this is a thought process that India should be exporter of LNG, hydrogen, to other countries. See the mission. And MNRE is a focal agency to do it. What is the purpose? Development of green hydrogen capacity 5 million ton to start with. Investment 8 lakh crore. Creation of 6 lakh jobs. Cumulative reduction of fossil fuel import by more than 1 lakh crore. Abatement of nearly 50 MMTP of CSG emission. Mission will facilitate demand creation, production, use and export of green hydrogen. So if you see here, it has really helped. Ramping up measures, Rajasthan has declared as a state to be full of hydrogen policy. Leh in the Ladakh state has been kept as one of the refueling station by NTPC. Then Kerala government said we'll give you, we'll invest 200 crores for hydrogen. Ministry of Railways have announced that next year they are going to have a train running on hydrogen. Initiative, I'm just talking. Private initiatives also could go on. Lately, Reliance in association with Cummins engine have tested a heavy truck to run on hydrogen. That means it will run as a IC engine fuel, not as a battery. It has been used as a battery also. This is again private initiative. US, they have also done a lot of job on this. First country to establish hydrogen as a fuel cell technology as part of national energy scenario. Government support, public, private, so on. I mean, the things is going on high. $8 billion establishing 6 to 10 regional clean hub. As I said, unless you have a hub for hydrogen throughout the country in a regional basis, it cannot be implemented because transportation is costly. You cannot have hydrogen pipeline. Similarly, in China, 3,000 ECB fuel-based vehicles running in 2019, still more. And all your lithium batteries supplier, mostly China, running on par with IC. They have established the economics that hydrogen vehicles running at par with IC engine operating cost. So the cost aspect is served, or your emissions are much better off. So this is proven that you can use IC engine with a hydrogen fuel. Fusan is the most active city, it's okay. In Europe, they started with 2003. 15 European countries take them together to do this hydrogen effect. Then you have plans for 2050 as to replace 7%. They say 7% of NG for heating purpose will be replaced by 2030 and 32% by 2040. This is the mission. And you have seen the flame, yes, they have started it. That flame was from the presentation of Mr. Anthony Green of British. They are experimenting. Germany has been successful and has to train developed by Alstom. Siemens also developed train. And Britain plans 35% primary energy to come from hydrogen. See the thinking process. Even renewable has not touched that level, but they say no, we'll go for hydrogen. They have plans to transport 5% blended S2 through natural gas pipeline grid by 2024 and raise it to 100% by 2028. This is a presentation given by Mr. Antony. He is the hydrogen director. Just see the focus. You really focus on particular subject, then it will implement it. And it is a successful. Similarly, in Japan, government support, fuel cell-based CSP, and they are the first in starting the vehicle. Commercial fuel cell-based vehicle by Mirai, and now also they are having much more ahead in experimenting hydrogen-based vehicles. Nissan is there, Toyota is there. Then I think bottlenecks. This is the last slide. Polluting S2 production other than green S2. Hydrogen green is okay, otherwise all are, you are creating pollution by producing hydrogen. But you have to take a balance whether this pollution is much better than the actually using that particular fuel from which you are splitting. Second, S2 pipeline transportation not yet proven. Cascade transportation need high pressure, 500 to 700 bar. Water requirement very huge. You split water, saying is very easy, but if you see here, chemically about 10 liter of potable water is required to produce 1 kg of hydrogen, but in practice 60 to 65, 90 liter of water is required. And one of the project by Terry Callis was cancelled only because of water problem in Australia. So these are the challenges. Nevertheless, we jointly can resolve all these challenges. I think with this, let me thank you for patience hearing.